and welcome KCIW listeners at 100.7 FM or online at kciw.org, Brookings, Oregon. Hi to our syndicated listeners at KZZH 96.7 FM, Access, Humboldt, Eureka, California. And a welcome to our listeners over in Medford and Ashland, KSKQ, that's 89.5 Ashland and 94.1 FM Medford. Yep, you're at the right place. This is Joyously Free Radio with me, Joanie Lindenmeyer, the best-selling author of None Better, an amazing love story, and co-author of Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts. I am so glad that you are tuning in today. I'm a resident of Harbor, Oregon, a retired high school teacher, a recent author who has published 3 books in 2 years, created an audiobook, and with friend and film producer Michael Gorse, created a short film called Wowzer. And wow, has that really been a good one. Ooh boy. But most of all, right now, this very moment, I love life and love being the producer and host of this high-energy, joyously free radio show, as my friends Will and Viv named it. This show talks about LGBTQ plus stories and tips, along with religion, church, faith, spirituality, and joy. Yes, simply said, the purpose of the show is to share, radiate, and spread the abundant joy and freedom. Hence the title, Joyously Free. Sometimes, though, things are not so joyous, and we're going to hear about some things today that are not so joyous. But we always have an option of what we can do and how we tackle things. It is also, of course, Joyously Free, the name of my second book that I published with Elizabeth Ann Atkins. But in this radio broadcast, just as in my everyday life, and I hope it is with you too, no hate speech, no hate behaviors, and no bullying. Let's blast this show and this day with the 3 C's: courage, confidence, and collaboration. Together, let's sparkle and seek understanding. Let's think out of the box or no boxes at all. Let's be open-minded as an open parachute. So we do that by beginning with a daily salutation. I will say it's a brand new day, and your response is, it's never been lived before. And why do I start this way? Well, this is what Carol and I did for 40 years of our love life. Every morning, we would have this incredible daily salutation. So here we go. It's a brand new day.
Never been lived before.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yes, our special guest is sitting just a few feet away from me today, and we started it off in a gangbuster. Oh, boy. But, before we do anything, let's open our hearts. Let's do a little prayer. Ask the divine to shine light on our community and our world. I excitedly believe in hope, in the power of the spiritual, and that Jesus, God's Spirit, whatever name you put on a higher being, is always with me and always with you. So be not afraid or troubled, saddened or depressed. Joy and peace are an internal expression of love and harmony that is already within us. We only have to reach deep within and let it out. So let's center ourselves. Let's calmly take a deep breath in with the good and out with doubt. Again, breathe in through your nose with hope and out from your mouth with fears. Last one, take a big deep breath in with joy and out with worry or despair. In the name of Mother Earth, Creator God, Jesus Redeemer, and the blowing winds of the Holy Spirit, we say, hi, love, hi, light, hi, Jesus, hi, Spirit. Thank you for being with us on this beautiful day. Well, today's reading I took from the Bible. I took it from a psalm, Psalm 46, 2 through 4. And I'm going to read that. It's a little bit lengthy, but hang in there with me because I think it's apropos for what we're doing today. God is for us a refuge and strength, an ever-present help in time of distress. So we shall not fear, though the earth should rock, though the mountains quake to the heart of the sea, even though its waters rage and foam, even though the mountains be shaken by its tumult. God is for us a refuge and strength. When I read that yesterday morning, not today, when I read that yesterday morning, I was just contemplating about how God has been a refuge for me, and how when my life has been upside down or turned this way or that way and I didn't understand and I was confused, I needed God to give me the strength. I needed God to say, I've got you, Joanie. I've got you. Don't worry. I've got you. And you know what? God does that for each one of us every single day or whenever we need God's help. So again, God is for us a refuge and strength, an ever-present help in time of distress. Let us end our loving prayer by lifting up our friends and family. May I and you find divine guidance and healing today. Thank you, Holy One, for hearing and being with us. Bless us to always do your will, and we know that you will work through us. In the Lord's name, amen. So, here we go. Let's have a happy day together, KCIW, KZZH, and KSKQ listeners. And I think it's happy because I'm sitting across the table from a friend that I've known for years, and I admire Sylas. I'm just going to say her name, Sylas Ryan. I admire Sylas. I admire her heart, her tenacity, her willingness to speak up for others, even in the midst of her own yuckiness, struggles, and conflicts. So with that, I want to introduce you to our topic of community housing, how to build and support all of us in community housing. Sylas is a lay pastor from the Smith River United Methodist Church. Welcome, Sy.
Hi, Joanie. It's such a wonderful, joyous to be here today. And thank you for having me to talk about these issues.
You bet.
Yeah, as you said, we're here to talk about the housing issues in Del Norte County and our unhoused population. Which kind of goes hand in hand with our job market situation that we have going on. Part of the problem is that we do not have the professionals, as you know, for our doctors and mental health and whatnots. And part of the reason we don't have these professionals is because of the housing crisis. We do not have enough housing. Well, we have been working on getting more housing, and we have new senior unit up across from the United Methodist Church in Crescent City, and they were full like the day they opened.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have another project coming available with I think it's 160 units. Don't quote me on that.
Point?
That is Battery Point.
I drove by there the other day, and it's like things look like it's moving and shaking. So tell us more.
Oh, yes. Well, it's intended to be a mixed income housing. So it will be for the working class as well as the lower class and middle class. And there'll be family units, single units, senior units. And it is going to be 5 stories, and
Wow.
There's going to be a garden, community kitchen,
Wow.
And so much support is going into this building complex that it's going to do so amazing for our community.
Wow. And you said
really
160 units.
Yes.
Let's add all those people up. So we're talking a couple hundred people are going to be under a roof and in community.
Yes, and it's working class housing as well. So we can finally get our mental health providers and our doctors and teachers for to have housing in the area so they can stick around.
Exactly.
Which will also help with the job market crisis that we are facing because in order, as you know, it's a terrible cycle. If you have to have a job to get housing, and you have to have housing to get a job,
right.
And so if we can, if we can just get this situated correctly, which we are well on our way to doing.
Well, the building is up and moving and grooving.
The building is up, and they're putting on the final touches. We should have Battery Point open by early next year. I don't know the exact dates.
You're not the contractor.
I'm not the contractor.
Will you talk about where it's located, though, Cy?
Yeah, it's going to be located behind Crescent, Elk, or Joe Hamilton.
Elementary school.
Elementary school right there in Crescent City. And so there's this huge lot, empty lot that's been vacant for forever now. And they put up 2 buildings, and there's going to be like this dog park and a kids area, and like the plans for this place are just astounding. It's going to be nice when it's done, and it's going to provide a lot of housing for a lot of people. And it's close to the schools. There's churches around. I think there's like 4 different denominations of church of religious value around.
Right.
And so, yeah, right there, real close to everything you need. God and education.
I love it. I love that. That's a good way to say that. That's a good way to say it. And I haven't not been a part of the planning committee for this. Where and when did this start?
Well, we started discussing it a few years ago, and then the plans really took off, I think, 2 years ago, and then they started building it this last year, and along with several other properties. Like I'd mentioned the one across, I can't remember what it's called right now either, but it's right across from, on 8th Street, right across from the United Methodist Church there. And that's seniors only, and they filled up instantly. Mm-hmm. And we do have the need for such housing in Crescent City. We have over 2,000 unhoused individuals, as according to our last pit count. Which pit is point in time, if you didn't know. So we do have the need for housing, but we also have a need for jobs. As you know, we don't have a lot of stores and whatnot, and being the coastal region that we are, with the redwoods and the Smith River and the ocean, we're more about the trails and the hikes and the
It's tourism.
Natural,
tourism,
right?
well.
Tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have a lot of stores or things like that to provide jobs. So we're working on a food hub where the farmers and whatnot can all get together and distribute food throughout the community. And then we're trying to get more jobs for cleaning up the trails and the rivers, the outdoorsy type jobs.
Taking care of our environment.
Yeah, exactly. And so if we can provide enough jobs in the environmental area, then we can get people both employed and housed,
right,
with the supports that they need for their mental health and physical health issues. Because as you know, the longer you've been out on the streets, the more you deteriorate physically and mentally. Mm-hmm. And so it's really important to have proper supports in place, especially when we're providing housing for those that have been unhoused for so long.
Right.
So,
well, and because it's mixed, you have those people that are employed that can live within Battery Point. You have those that are struggling to find a job, to figure out what their means are and the resources and the advocacy needed to help them. So, but it's a help for everybody, because we as a community need to grow stronger together.
Yes. Strength comes in community, Joanie. And so a big part of the design for the Battery Point apartments is there's going to be a community kitchen. There's going to be a community garden. And the idea is to get everybody to kind of commingle and look after one another and be in community together. The seniors are going to need certain types of help here and there, and the people coming in that haven't been housed for a while, who don't know how to be housed, are going to need certain supports. And so with Battery Point, I do believe there's going to be supportive services that are offered, as well
Awesome.
as, the gardens and the clean eating and the community kitchen where you can share meals together. And so, it just seems like it's going to end up being a wonderful project when it's all said and done.
Right on, right on. And like you said a few minutes ago, it started from discussion years ago
Yes.
of what can we as a community do? What can we do? And then finding the resources, the funding, everything involved in that has to take place. And it does take time.
It does.
And once we find that Battery Point can be duplicated and replicated, this whole concept, think about where that can go, Sy.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you lost your train of thought.
I
You
did. I
probably have a
lost my
zillion things going through
words.
your mind. Before you jump in, talk to us about some of the people you know that you personally know that will be able to have a beautiful place to live.
As you know, I took up residency at the Legacy Apartments, which were permanent supportive transitional housing, and so I got in Crescent City, and so I got to see firsthand the Housing First model before it got closed down. And housing first works. Okay, I have to advocate for that, because housing first really does work. If you have the proper supports in place, you get somebody housed, you take away their need for their basic necessities, basic hygiene, basic security, warmth, and suddenly they're joyful again. They're hopeful again. And they can find something to do that isn't just like hopeless.
Right.
And
They have a purpose.
They do.
They have a purpose for living now.
They
feel love.
They find that purpose once their basic needs are cared for.
Yes. Maslow's hierarchy.
Right? Exactly. You make sure their bellies are full, they're warm, they're clean, and suddenly they become useful members of society.
Right.
And they look after one another, and they start doing the things that they should be doing, and taking care of themselves both mentally and physically. And it takes some support. It really does. But it's so worth it. As you know, Jesus wouldn't have left anybody behind.
No.
And so we are doing our best to follow his lead and make sure that our communities are cared for. And from what I have seen, when we get all these apartments in order, then the permanent supportive transitional housing, the Legacy, will serve its purpose, along with the tiny home village that we're putting up and the shelter that should be opening real soon. And so we will be able to actually take care of people. And one of the things that our county is severely lacking is the professionals, the mental health professionals, the doctors, the dentists, the optometrists, the specialists. And the reason we don't have these people is a big part because of the housing and the job market. Like, there's no place for them to live, and there's nothing for them to do. And so We've been in talks for a few years about that too, and we are starting to see these talks come to fruition and action plans, and we're putting into motion these steps that need to take place in order to balance our economy and our
they're not separate issues, are they?
No, they're not.
No,
they're not at all.
And to gather and to share those dreams, to share the vision, and whether it's church people, city people, county people, contractors, people with the money and the backing, all of that takes time to understand each other.
Yes, it does. And the best way to do that is just to keep at it. Keep talking. Keep dreaming. Keep planning. You gotta just keep thinking outside the box, Joanie.
Yep.
Throw away the box entirely. Let your mind wander.
I'm there.
And
think of others.
Right? Let it expand.
Yep.
To the point where it's all encompassing. Let it think about those that are sleeping in tents or even not in tents.
Yeah.
Those who have no shelter. And the environment that we live in, it's kind of cold and wet. Let your heart go out to these people and think, what can I do to help?
Yeah.
And sometimes all it takes is that discussion, that talk.
Right.
Sitting down at lunch with a friend and saying, what can we do? And suddenly there's a plan in place.
Right.
And sometimes that's all it takes. Exactly. Being in community with one another, with open eyes, open hearts, and open minds. And this is how you build into community and solve the problems of hunger and housing and security.
Right.
I mean, all humans deserve the basic rights for food and clothing and housing. And the only reason we don't have it is what? Greed? Because some people...
Yeah, we stop it. We can start it, we can stop it. Whatever.
Right?
And when this really hit home, I'm glad we're having this discussion, Cy, because when it really hit, a couple things in my life it really hit home with. One is, of course, as a nun when I was in the convent, there would be people constantly coming to our parish door or to the convent door wanting food, asking, hey, do you need any work to be done, and then wanting to be either paid in cash or however, or could they sleep underneath the tree or could they sleep on the side of the house or whatever. And then it really hit me, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I have a nephew that was struggling with alcohol and drugs, and he did not have a place to be. And so he was literally on the streets. And my family members and myself, we were just in agony. We were depressed. We were sad. What can we do for this young man that is in this crisis mode and didn't want the help and was just literally was street bound? And it just really hit me in a wider sense. What can I do in my community? I lived 1,000 miles away from what was going on, but at the same time, what about the people in my community that are having drug problems or mental problems? And what can I do? And when you take it to heart on a personal level, that's your son, that's your grandson, that's your nephew, that's your niece, it makes a huge difference. Do you want to comment about that for your final comments today?
Well, it really does, because a lot of the work that I do with that exact thought. That is my mother whose feet are blistered, who cannot walk on the street, even if it's not. That is my child. I would pray that somebody would have mercy on my child if my child ended up on the streets. I would pray somebody would have mercy on my mother. And so for me...
And I did.
It is very
Come on, Good Samaritans.
Right? Exactly.
Come help my nephew. Come on, Good Samaritans.
Exactly.
And then you find yourself being that Good Samaritan.
You have to be that Good Samaritan, because that's when that Good Samaritan is going to show up in another's life through you.
Exactly.
That is the resurrection.
Oh, what a way to end it. That is the resurrection, when you show up for somebody else, huh?
Well, we did just have Easter.
Oh,
so-
my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Let
Oh,
Jesus be seen in you, in your actions, in your love. He loved you first. Now return the favor.
beautiful. Okay, listeners, did you hear all that? You may need to rewind this or listen to that again, because that last 2 minutes from Sy was powerful. No wonder she's a lay minister at the Smith River United Methodist Church. Oh, Sy, thank you for coming, spilling out your guts and your heart and your brain and your information, and how exciting for Battery Point and Crescent City and all the different places, maybe Medford, Ashland. We can all take to heart other ways that we can explore this housing job market situation. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Listeners, let's give a great shout out to you. Yep, Southern Oregon, Northern California, the Rogue Valley. We want to hope that you have been inspired, challenged maybe, to do something today. That might be a good idea. And to spread that hope and that love that Sy was just talking about. We want to thank Tom Bozek, Candace and Rose, and especially Mike Gorse on sound today here at the KCIW studio. We also want to thank Steve Van Cleve, Sally and Todd for sponsoring this show Joyously Free, because when we hear about struggles, then we can find the joy. I just want to personally thank again one more time to Sy for being brave enough to come on radio to talk about these issues that oftentimes are blocks or attitude problems with other people. Open your mind today, and remember, smile big and wear bright colors. Happy day!
Peace be with you.